Arabic grammar is the grammar of the Arabic language. Arabic is a Semitic language and its grammar has many similarities with the grammar of other Semitic languages. The article focuses both on the grammar of literary Arabic and of the colloquial spoken varieties of Arabic. The grammar of the two types is largely similar in its particulars. Generally, the grammar of classical Arabic is described first, followed by the areas in which the colloquial variants tend to differ. The largest differences between the two systems are the loss of grammatical case, the loss of the previous system of grammatical mood, along with the evolution of a new system, the loss of the inflected passive voice, except in a few relic varieties, and restriction in the use of the dual number. History. The identity of the oldest Arabic grammarian is disputed. Some sources state that it was Abu Aswad al-Duwali, who established diacritical marks and vowels for Arabic in the mid-600s, though none of his works have survived. Others have said that the earliest grammarian would have been Ibn Abi Ishaq. The schools of Basra and Kufa further developed grammatical rules in the late 8th century with the rapid rise of Islam. For the school of Basra, generally regarded as being founded by Abu Amr ibn al-Ala, two representatives laid important foundations for the field. Al-Khalil ibn Ahmad al-Farahidi authored the first Arabic dictionary and book of Arabic prosody, and his student Sibawayh authored the first book on theories of Arabic grammar. For the school of Kufa, al-Ruwazi is universally acknowledged as the founder, though his own writings are considered lost, with most of the school's development undertaken by later authors. The efforts of al-Farahidi and Sibawayh consolidated Basra's reputation as the analytic school of grammar, while the Kufan school was regarded as the guardian of Arabic poetry and Arab culture. The differences were polarizing in some cases, with early Muslim scholar Muhammad ibn Isa at-Tirmidhi favoring the Kufan school due to its concern with poetry as a primary source. Early Arabic grammars were more or less lists of rules, without the detailed explanations which would be added in later centuries. The earliest schools were different not only in some of the views on grammatical disputes, but also their emphasis. The school of Kufa excelled in Arabic poetry and exegesis of the Quran, in addition to Islamic law and Arab genealogy. The more rationalist school of Basra, on the other hand, focused more on the formal study of grammar. Division. For classical Arabic grammarians, the grammatical sciences are divided into 5 branches. Al-Laf are concerned with collecting and explaining vocabulary. At-Tasrif determining the form of the individual words, and Nahw primarily concerned with inflection which had already been lost in dialects. Al-Ishtiqaq examining the origin of the words. Al-Balagha which elucidates stylistic quality or eloquence. The grammar or grammars of contemporary varieties of Arabic are a different question. Said M. Badawi, an expert on Arabic grammar, divided Arabic grammar into 5 different types based on the speaker's level of literacy and the degree to which the speaker deviated from classical Arabic. Badawi's 5 types of grammar, from the most colloquial to the most formal, are illiterate spoken Arabic, semi-literate spoken Arabic, educated spoken Arabic, modern standard Arabic, and classical Arabic. Phonology. Classical Arabic has 28 consonantal phonemes, including 2 semivowels, which constitute the Arabic alphabet. It also has 6 vowel phonemes. These appear as various allophones, depending on the preceding consonant. Short vowels are not usually represented in the written language, although they may be indicated with diacritics. Word stress varies from one Arabic dialect to another. A rough rule for word stress in classical Arabic is that it falls on the penultimate syllable of a word if that syllable is closed, and otherwise on the antepenultimate. Hamza al-Wa asl. Elidable hamza is a phonetic object prefixed to the beginning of a word for ease of pronunciation. Since literary Arabic doesn't allow consonant clusters at the beginning of a word, elidable hamza drops out as a vocal if a word is preceding it. This word will then produce an ending vocal, helping vocal to facilitate pronunciation. This short vocal may be, depending on the preceding vowel, a fatha, a kasra, I, or a damma, u. If the preceding word ends in a sukun, the hamza lwasl assumes a kasra, I. Symbol shadda indicates a gemination, a consonant doubling. See more in Tashkil, nouns and adjectives. In classical Arabic, nouns and adjectives are declined according to case, state, gender and number. In colloquial spoken Arabic, there are a number of simplifications such as the loss of certain final vowels and the loss of case. A number of derivational processes exist for forming new nouns and adjectives. Adverbs can be formed from adjectives. Pronouns. Personal pronouns. In Arabic, personal pronouns have 12 forms. In singular and plural, the second and third persons differentiate gender, while the first person does not. In the dual, there is no first person, and only a single form for each second and third person. Traditionally, the pronouns are listed in the order third, second, first. Informal Arabic tends to avoid the dual forms antuma and huma. The feminine plural forms antuna and hunna are likewise avoided, except by speakers of conservative colloquial varieties that still possess separate feminine plural pronouns. Enclitic pronouns. Enclitic forms of personal pronouns are affixed to various parts of speech, with varying meanings, to the construct state of nouns, where they have the meaning of possessive demonstratives, e.g., my, your, his, to verbs, where they have the meaning of direct object pronouns, e.g., me, you, him, to prepositions, where they have the meaning of objects of the prepositions, e.g., to me, to you, to him, to conjunctions and particles like ana, that, li ana, because, like ina, but, ina, where they have the meaning of subject pronouns, e.g., because on, because you, because he, ... If a word ends on a vowel and the enclitic form personal pronoun is I, an extra n is added between the word and the enclitic form to avoid a hiatus between the two vowels. Most of them are clearly related to the full personal pronouns. Variant forms. For all but the first person singular, the same forms are used regardless of the part of speech of the word attached to. In the third person masculine singular, who occurs after the vowels ending in u or a, while hi occurs after vowels ending in I. The same alternation occurs in the third person dual and plural. In the first-person singular, however, the situation is more complicated. Specifically, kni, me, is attached to verbs, but I, ya, my, is attached to nouns. In the latter case, ya is attached to nouns whose construct state ends in a long vowel, a diphthong, while I is attached to nouns whose construct state ends in a short vowel, in which case the vowel is elided. Furthermore, u of the masculine sound plural is assimilated to I before ya. Examples from kitab, book, place, kutab, kitabai, my book, kutabai, my books, kitabaya, my two books, kitabaya, my two books. From kalima, word, place, kalimat, kalimat, I, my word, kalimat, I, my words. From dunya, world, place, dunya ayat, dunya ya, my world, dunya yutai, my worlds. From kidan, judge, place, kuda, qadiy ya, my judge, kudatai, my judges. From muallim, teacher, place, muallimun, muallimai, my teacher, muallimiya, my teachers. From ab, father, Abuya, my father. Abaya, my father. Abiya, my father. Prepositions use un, ya, even though in this case it has the meaning of me. The sisters of Inna can use either form, but the longer form is usually preferred. The second person masculine plural past tense verb ending tum changes to the variant from tumu before enclitic pronouns, e.g., katabtumuhu, you wrote it. Pronouns with prepositions. Some very common prepositions, including the proclitic preposition li to, have irregular or unpredictable combining forms when the enclitic pronouns are added. In the above cases, when there are two combining forms, one is used with me and the other with all other person, number, gender combinations. Note in particular, ila to and ala on have irregular combining forms ile, ale, but other pronouns with the same base form irregular, e.g., maa with li to has an irregular combining form la, but by in with by is regular. Min from and on double the final n before I. Minik from you. Less formal pronominal forms. In a less formal Arabic, as in many spoken dialects, the endings kakihu are pronounced as akiqh, swallowing all short case endings. Short case endings are often dropped even before consonant initial endings, e.g., kitab ka, your book, bait ka, your house, kalb ka, your dog. When this produces a difficult cluster, either the second consonant is vocalized to the extent possible, or an epenthetic vowel is inserted. Demonstratives. There are two demonstratives, near-deictic and far-deictic. The dual forms are only used in very formal Arabic. Some of the demonstratives should be pronounced with a long a, although the unvocalized script is not written with a leaf. Instead of an alif, they have the diacritic dagger alif, which doesn't exist on Arabic keyboards and is seldom written, even in vocalized Arabic. Quranic Arabic has another demonstrative, normally followed by a noun in a genitive construct and meaning owner of. Note that the demonstrative and relative pronouns were originally built on this word. Hada, for example, was originally composed from the prefix ha, this, and the masculine accusative singular dha. Similarly, dalika was composed from dha, an infixed syllable li, and the clitic suffix ka, u. These combinations had not yet become completely fixed in Quranic Arabic, and other combinations sometimes occurred, e.g., daka, dalikam. Similarly, the relative pronoun aladi was originally composed based on the genitive singular dhi, and the Old Arabic grammarians noted the existence of a separate nominative plural form aladhuna in the speech of the Hudhayl tribe in Quranic times. This word also shows up in Hebrew, e.g., masculine zdh, feminine zot, plural la. Relative pronoun. The relative pronoun is conjugated as follows. Note that the relative pronoun agrees in gender, number and case with the noun it modifies, as opposed to the situation in other inflected languages such as Latin and German, where the gender and number agreement is with the modified noun, but the case marking follows the usage of the relative pronoun in the embedded clause. When the relative pronoun serves a function other than the subject of the embedded clause, a resumptive pronoun is required. Al-Rajul aladi tata chelam tu maahu, literally, the man who I spoke with him. The relative pronoun is normally omitted entirely when an indefinite noun is modified by a relative clause. Rajulan tata chelam tu maahu, a man that I spoke with, literally, a man I spoke with him. Colloquial varieties. The above system is mostly unchanged in the colloquial varieties, other than the loss of the dual forms and of the feminine plural. Some of the more notable changes, the third-person he, him variants disappear. On the other hand, the first-person ni, I, ya variation is preserved exactly, and new variants appear for many forms. For example, in Egyptian Arabic, the second-person feminine feminine singular appears either as a key depending on various factors. Likewise, the third-person masculine singular appears variously as you, who, or, in many varieties, the indirect object forms, which appear in classical Arabic as separate words, become fused onto the verb, following a direct object. These same varieties generally develop a circumfix mark for negation. This can lead to complicated agglutinative constructs, such as Egyptian Arabic markatab hali, he didn't write it to me. Other varieties instead use a separate classical pseudo-pronoun iya for direct objects. Affixation of dual and sound plural nouns has largely vanished. Instead, all varieties possess a separate preposition with the meaning of, which replaces certain uses of the construct genitive. In Moroccan Arabic, the word is dial e.g. el-kitab dial I, my book, since the construct state genitive is mostly unproductive. Egyptian Arabic has beta, which agrees in gender and number with the preceding noun. In Egyptian Arabic, the construct state genitive is still productive, hence either kitab I or il-kitab beta I can be used for my book, but only il-muallimun bitu I, my teachers. The declined relative pronoun has vanished. In its place is an indeclinable particle, usually ilia similar. Various forms of the demonstrative pronouns occur, usually shorter than the classical forms. For example, Moroccan Arabic uses harel, this, dakel, dikel, dakel, that. Egyptian Arabic is unusual in that the demonstrative follows the noun e.g. il-kitab dar, this book, il-binti di, this girl. Some of the independent pronouns have slightly different forms compared with the classical forms. For example, usually forms similar to inta, inti, you, occur in place of anta, anti, and ihn, we, occurs in place of nanu. Numerals. Cardinal numerals numbers behave in a quite complicated fashion. Wafad 1 and ithnan 2 are adjectives following the noun and agreeing with it. Thalathat 3 through Asharit 10 require a following noun in the genitive plural, but disagree with the noun in gender, while taking the case required by the surrounding syntax. Ahada Ashera 11 through Tisata Ashera 19 require a following noun in the accusative singular, agree with the noun in gender, and are invariable for case, except for ithna ashara, ithne ashara 12. The formal system of cardinal numerals, as used in classical Arabic, is extremely complex. The system of rules is presented below. In reality, however, this system is never used. Large numbers are always written as numerals rather than spelled out, and are pronounced using a simplified system, even in formal contexts. Example: formal alfani watis umiatan wa thangata ashratan sanatan 2912 years. Formal bada alfani watis umiatan wa thangata ashratan sanatan after 2912 years. Spoken alfine watis miawa ithnis hasana 2912 years. Cardinal numerals from 0 to 10. 0 is SIFR, from which the words cipher and 0 are ultimately derived. 0 SIFR, 1 wafad, 2 ithnan, 3 thalatha, 4 arba, 5 kamsa, 6 sita, 7 saba, 8 thamania, 9 tisa, 10 ashara. The endings in brackets are dropped in less formal Arabic and in pausa. Note that is pronounced as simple a in these cases. There are cases when t-in must be pronounced, but not the rest of the ending. Ithnan is changed to ithnain in oblique cases. This form is also commonly used in a less formal Arabic in the nominative case. The numerals 1 and 2 are adjectives. Thus they follow the noun and agree with gender. Numerals 3 to 10 have a peculiar rule of agreement known as polarity. A feminine referrer agrees with a numeral in masculine gender and vice versa, e.g., thalathu fatayatun, 3 girls. The noun counted takes indefinite genitive plural. Numerals 11 and 13 to 19 are indeclinable for case, perpetually in the accusative. Numbers chapter 11 and 12 show gender agreement in the ones, and 13 to 19 show polarity in the ones. Number 12 also shows case agreement reminiscent of the dual. The gender of in Numbers chapters 11 to 19 agrees with the counted noun. The counted noun takes indefinite accusative singular. Unitary numbers from 20 on behave entirely as nouns, showing the case required by the surrounding syntax, no gender agreement, and a following noun in a fixed case. 20 through 90 require the noun to be in the accusative singular. 100 and up require the genitive singular. The unitary numbers themselves decline in various fashions. Ishruna 20 through Tizuna 90 decline as masculine plural nouns. Miat Mart 100 declines as a feminine singular noun. Alf 1000 declines as a masculine singular noun. The numbers chapters 20 to 99 are expressed with the units preceding the tens. There is agreement in gender with the numerals 1 and 2, and polarity for numerals 3 to 9. The whole construct is followed by the accusative singular indefinite. 20 Ishruna, 21 Wafadan wa Ishruna, 22 Ithnani wa Ishruna, 23 Thalatatu wa Ishruna, 30 Thalatuna, 40 Arbsuna. Miat 100 and Alf 1000 can themselves be modified by numbers and will be declined appropriately. For example, Miatani 200 and Alfani 2000 with dual endings. Thalatatu Alafin 3000 with Alf in the plural genitive. But Thalathumiatan 300 since Miat appears to have no plural. In compound numbers, the number formed with the last two digits dictates the declension of the associated noun, e.g., 212, 312, and 54,312 would all behave like 12. Large compound numbers can have e.g. alfun wat is umiatan wat is usinina 1909 years, bada alfin wat is imiatan wat is usinina after 1909 years, arbatan wat is una alfan wath hamani miatan wath alathin wasituna sanatan 94,863 years, bada Arbitan wat isyana alfan wath hamani miatan wath alathin wasitina sanatan, after 94,863 years. Itna of Sara alfan wa miatani wa thangatani wa ishruna sanatan 12,222 years. Bada ithna ashara alfan wa miatani wa thangatani wa ishrina sanatan after 12,222 years. Ithna ashara alfan wa miatani wa sanatani 12,202 years. Bada ithna ashara alfan wa miatani wa sanatani after 12,202 years. Note also the special construction when the final number created with the last two digits is 01 or 02. Alfu Laylatun wa Laylatun 1001 nights. Miatu Kutuban wa Kitabani 102 books. Fractions of a whole smaller than half are expressed by the structure FIL, place. AFAL, half Nisfan, 1/3 Thulin, 2/3 Thaltani, 1/4 Ruban, 3/4 Thalatatu Arbran, etc. Ordinal numerals Hardan second are formed using the structure for island for a Latin m. awalus f, ula first, thanan f, thaniyatun second, thalathun f, thalithatun third, rabran f, rabachan fourth, kamisan f, kamisatun fifth, sadisan f, sadisachan sixth, sabian f, sabiachan seventh, thamanan f, thamanatan eighth, Tasian f, Tasiachan ninth, Ashiran f, Ashiraratan 10, etc. They are adjectives, hence there is agreement in gender with the noun, not polarity as with the cardinal numbers. Note that 6 uses a different, older root than the number 6. Verbs, Arabic verbs, like the verbs in other Semitic languages, are extremely complex. Verbs in Arabic are based on a root made up of 3 or 4 consonants. The set of consonants communicates the basic meaning of a verb, e.g., ktb, write, qr, read, kl, eat. Changes to the vowels in between the consonants, along with prefixes or suffixes, specify grammatical functions such as tense, person, and number, in addition to changes in the meaning of the verb that embody grammatical concepts such as mood, voice, and forms such as causative, intensive, or reflexive. Since Arabic lacks an auxiliary verb to have constructions using li, inda, and maa with the pronominal suffixes are used to describe possession. For example, literally, with him a house. He has a house. Prepositions. There are 2 types of prepositions, based on whether they arise from the triconsonantal root system or not. There are 10 true prepositions that do not stem from the triconsonantal roots. These true prepositions cannot have prepositions preceding them, in contrast to the derived triliteral prepositions. True prepositions can also be used with certain verbs to convey a particular meaning. For example, behavior means to discuss as a transitive verb, but can mean to search for when followed by the preposition an, and to do research about when followed by fi. The prepositions arising from the triliteral root system are called adverbs of place and time in the native tradition and work very much in the same way as the true prepositions. A noun following a preposition takes the genitive case. However, prepositions can take whole clauses as their object too if succeeded by the conjunctions an or ana, in which case the subject of the clause is in the nominative or the accusative respectively. The word preposition, a noun. This is a question that does not have a clear answer. A is by definition, which means that it always stays the same. E.g., the word there is a debate going on, but most grammarians think that which means with is because the word can sometimes have nunation. For example, in the expression, they came together, that is why a is occasionally listed under semi-prepositons, as treated as a is grammatically speaking a or, so call.